All right, so I cut my nails recently, so it's not gonna sound as good. But this is the very first song I ever played. If anyone can remember what it was
on the show.
On the show, yeah.
Okay. But since he was a baby.
Since I was a baby, yeah, on the show. So yeah, it's a real serious song too.
Do do da da.
My little Ramblecast has the sweetest style. Dear little Ramblecast, won't you stay a while? Come with me where moonbeams paint the sky, and you and I might linger in the sweet by and by. Oh, dear little Ramblecast, with your eyes so blue. Ah, little Ramblecast, you're a dream come true. You and I will settle down in a cottage built for two. Oh, dear little Ramblecast, I love you. Do. Then we could keep going, but everybody now.
That might be your best one yet, twice.
Yeah. Well, the first time I had just gotten this in, I'd just bought it, and then Matt was talking about singing something, and then and that was and I still lived in LA.
Wow.
I played that a long time ago.
And has Sherry ever said anything bad about us in the chat?
Of a song? No.
No, of anything.
Oh, that's true. I'm waiting for that day because that one just wasn't your best, guys. That episode.
Nice vibrator? What does she say?
Vibrato.
Oh, vibrato.
I was gonna say that's why she's always in a good mood.
Wow. Now she's gonna have something bad to say. Now she's gonna. We're trying, Sherry.
You let me violate you. Wow.
No. By the way, for those
sorry,
just listening and not watching what we're doing live, Will Fry has suggested or requested 9 Inch Nails. So which
hence why I'm singing closer. Yeah.
And I decided to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's that's from the first song on one of those albums.
I probably should have done Hurt. Yeah,
I am curious to see how
Pig.
Trent Reznor's take on the Tron, because he's the musician for the next Tron movie. So.
That's gonna be hard to beat.
Is another Tron movie coming?
Yeah, they're finally. It's been like green lit for like 3 years. They haven't pulled the trigger.
I never saw the one. I saw the original.
Yeah, the 2009 I think was the year. I think they came out.
Has it been that long?
It's been a while. Yeah.
I haven't had time to see it.
I liked it. I mean, some people that were the diehard original were not fans of it because it's a bit more Disney than, as in, just the
because Mickey Mouse is flying around.
No, I think the first one is more Disney than the second one.
I mean, that's just what I remember at the time. People saying, because like you think about how complex the first Tron is, like you're stealing with a lot of stuff people have no concept of, and then like all the visual effects being challenging, and then this one I liked. This one I thought it was good. Some people criticized just the de-aging, which I thought was good for its time. I liked the second one. I thought it did a very good job.
And we get de-agers here like a filter for this thing.
My kids and I we went through the whole Tron movies and the animated show, which is really good. The Tron cartoon that they did, which is it takes place basically right before the second movie.
Okay.
And they even have like Mandy Moore of all people as a voice on there. Nice. So they have some big name voices on that show. And the music and the writing is actually really good. So even though it's kind of a one and done, animated show, if you're big into the Tron and you've never checked that out, it's worth a watch.
Into the Tron, man.
I'm looking forward to it because I how much are they gonna pick up after the second one, or are they just gonna make it do its own thing? Or what?
It makes more sense if they just keep going with it, and I mean, don't blow up the bubble. Like you've already created a tapestry. Keep going with what has happened here. Let's not tread wheels or go backwards. So
yeah, but Jackie, I mean, you have Disney Plus, so I'm sure it's
I know. It's just a matter of sitting down and watching it. I probably should go back and watch when did the original come out? In the
82.
early 80s? 82?
It's either 81 or 82.
That was the last time I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater, and that was it. And I've never gone back and watched it.
Well, I mean, I think I've only seen the original twice. And it's been quite a while since I've seen the original.
It has some forgettable moments to it. That's where, I'm saying it's not as strong, but whereas the second movie, not only is the soundtrack just killer, it's just a solid soundtrack. I mean, it sets a tone, a vibe for the whole pace. But you have the whole opening sequence with the motorcycle, opening and what have you. So anyway, even if you don't have to necessarily watch the original. You could always jump in to the second one, like most
That's
people.
True. Yeah, you don't really.
Most people, if you've seen and you kind of you have the inkling of it, you can watch it, and then you're not going to miss out on some kind of big clue or what have you.
It's been so long since I've seen the original. I don't remember if I liked it or not.
Sure.
I mean,
I just think that there are some people that. Yeah, I like my kids. I feel like the first one actually was a lot slower, and
definitely.
a little bit, and a lot more just kind of drawn out pacing wise. That the second one actually held their attention more, and
it's been 42 years.
It's to Nick's point. Like we both like a certain '80s franchise of stuff that translated well. So the Dark Crystal being another one where the sequel show that they made was almost far superior to the movie, and that's kind of how I feel about the
I agree. I mean, like I said, I liked the Dark Crystal growing up. It wasn't something compared to Secret and M or Never Ending Story that I watched more of, but I liked the Dark Crystal as a child. But, it wasn't until the series came out that I really fully appreciated the Dark Crystal. Because it just added that element that was missing to make it a classic. And it's kind of the same argument I made a month ago or so about the new Mad Max film, Furiosa, which is has nothing to do really with Mad Max, but I did not like Fury Road, which came out a decade ago,
right?
Because it literally is just someone driving from point A and then turning around and coming back. And I was and I didn't get it. I didn't get the plot. I was what am I supposed to be getting here in the movie? And Furiosa added all of that depth to make me really appreciate Fury Road. And so I like it when a film.
I never saw it. I saw the original 3. And that's all I've seen.
Okay, yeah. Well, Fury Road came out in 2014 or 16.
That was Charlize Theron, and I think we talked about this before. Yeah, Theron and
and so what you need to do is watch Furiosa first. Do not watch the credits. As soon as the movie's over, just stop it because the credits are a recap of Fury Road.
Stop it.
Okay.
So just stop it and then watch Fury Road. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, they're not. Because of just technology, they're good compared to the original 3. I mean, I always liked Beyond Thunderdome. I think because that was the first one I watched.
We don't need another hero.
I definitely like to say, 2-man enter, 1-man leave at any chance that I can. So
especially when you're going into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, I like the first one's not Mel Gibson's voice.
Yeah. I don't like the first one. That one you can literally just fast forward through the entire film and then watch the last 10 minutes and you're good. But
Really, it was so. Again, I didn't like. I think we talked about this before. It was his friend Goose, the guy that burned.
Yeah,
I did not like that scene at all.
Well, I think
I do like at the end where he gives the crazy guy, he ties him to the motorcycle.
Yeah,
and he goes, you can saw through your leg or the chain.
right. Yeah, and then because you don't have time by the time the gasoline gets to you or whatever it was. Yeah.
Well, what would you?
But
Okay,
I guess,
here's a question. I'll put it out there to both of you. You're in that situation. Do you cut off your leg?
Well, Matt already cut. Matt just cut out. Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, what would you do?
Hopefully, I'm never in that situation.
I'm just saying you're in that. You pissed somebody off, Nick.
Yeah.
And they're chaining you to the thing. What do you do?
You got to cut off the limb, sadly, because if you, I don't know.
Would you go into shock though, cutting it off?
Well, yeah, that's the thing is that you'd probably lose so much blood. You're probably screwed either way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, especially in the times they were living in, where there's not like a doctor nearby or anything.
Right.
No, I think my issue though with the original Mad Max, or is it Mad Max is the first, and then the Road Warrior. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it's kind of a prequel to what's coming. In that it's the first almost more than half of the film is really, he's a today cop, and that's what he's like. And so it whereas by the time he's the Roadrunner, it's post-apocalyptic, and that point on. So I almost don't even recognize the first one as part of that series because it's not the same.
Well, they mess with his family too.
Yeah.
And that's just terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I remember crying in that because I think the baby they kill the baby too, right?
Yeah, they kill everybody.
Yeah, bastards.
And then of course, it's very 1970s, and especially low budget 1970s Australia. You look at all the futuristic costumes they're wearing, and you're like, oh my god, it's so.
But what I liked about I've said this 1,000. I like the doom and gloom, end of the world type stuff. I think we're pretty close to that right now.
Dystopia.
And so I just think it's but it's another movie I have not seen in forever.
Yeah, and they're all, I think, on HBO for free. All of them.
Are they?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back and watch them again.
Don't watch the only 3. Let's see. Yeah. What else? So I went to Washington.
Washington State.
Washington State, yeah. Guy was flew in, on Monday, and then
tired.
Yeah, God, so tired. Yeah. And then just came back Tuesday. So it was a really quick trip, but it was
two RCAD in the same state, right? Within a month. You guys both went out to Washington State.
That's right.
What's Will Fry saying?
He said, "Sorry about your wife. I just fucked her for a minute."
Yeah, he says, "Sorry, wife and I just finished 1 minute before we started."
Oh, I see. The Omen.
I thought he was talking about something else. Okay.
No. He's just, it is.
I thought we had another Shannon Sharp thing going on here.
You know how it is, like when you have something just fresh in your brain, and because I went and saw Beetlejuice, and they play for a good long part of the movie. Towards the end, they play the song. MacArthur Park. And not that I've ever been a big fan of that song, but it definitely stayed in my head for the next 4 or 5 days,
Well, that's good. It did its job.
Yeah.
I'm going to see it Saturday. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Wow.
So
keep in mind who you're talking to.
I know. Well, because we watched The Boys when Jay and Colleen saw it. They go, "Oh, it's gone. It's white. It's crazy." I go, so it really was. They really didn't give a. But Jay's an easy grader when it comes to movies he likes. And the first one is so good.
The first one is so If you go into it expecting the first one, you're gonna be disappointed. And I didn't. The problem with it is really editing. That was what the problem was. It's
Cliff.
The actors I thought did a good job. And I'm not going to get spoilery, but the first act takes forever to get on its feet. And that's one of the things that really kills it. And it almost feels when you're done watching the movie that they had 2 ideas for possible plots and they just said like, hey, let's just put it all in there. Because there's definitely storylines that start and go nowhere. And you're kind of like, oh, that could have been so much cooler, and it's not until they get to the underworld, like the dead spot where it gets interesting. Like everything up to that point, you're kind of like, hurry up, get on with it. So Ghostbusters 2 is better, I felt.
Oh my God.
See?
Are you kidding me?
There you go.
Are you kidding
now,
me?
I will say that Nick is a hard critic.
I am.
He's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah. So, I mean,
but if I like it, I like it.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, Will Fry can crack a nut in a minute. So,
I think his wife cracked a couple nuts on him. So.
But I think J.R. Collins did say they have one plot line that ends up going. The payoff is terrible.
Yeah, and that's probably that's what we're probably on the same vein there, in that the way the movie starts off, the first 5-10 minutes is actually really good, and you're like, oh, that's cool, like like that could really go somewhere, and then it goes nowhere. And that's
the first one, because Cindy hated the first one.
Oh,
but she's willing to go to this one now. I'm gonna have to go see something she likes.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one had such a good flow to it. It never slowed down.
Right.
I mean, it had there were so many interesting things going on.
There's things about it that I thought were really clever, but could have been completely edited out. So the guy that played Rooney in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right?
Yeah.
He was the dad in the original movie, but he got
the guy that had child porn on his computer.
Exactly, and so he's basically blacklisted out of Hollywood.
Right.
And they still included him in the film, and not him actually himself. They did it really cleverly to get out of the Crispin Glover stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but they did it through stop motion, which I thought was really cool at the beginning of the movie. But it eats up so much of the first act in a way that's like you could have literally just had like the intro scene, then cut to his funeral, and then skip like all the stuff to get to the funeral. Like it's like, because it's not really needed. And you could have then had more development for that beginning part to come back to where like Beetlejuice is on the surface. And then this person, I'm just my own thoughts. Like maybe this person takes over the underworld and then Beetlejuice is oblivious to it. And then it leads into this other stuff. And like, there's just so many things that I felt needed a script doctor to be like, hey, like, what if you just do this instead? And it would have made more sense. Okay. Like I said, I gave it like a 6-8 out of 10. So it's not horrible to where you're like, God, that was a waste of money. But it's also not like, hey, go see it. So,
Nick basically is just ruining it for you.
I've already bought
my opinion.
We've already bought the tickets.
So then you're gonna go in and you're gonna be actually like, oh, this was a lot better than this.
I should have known
that. I actually like it. If I set the bar so low that it's only good, then I've done you a favor.
You have. I wanted to see it when I said, oh, that's but I'm always leery of when they do a second movie when the first one is so good. You may have heard I don't like Ghostbusters 2.
Never heard of that.
But it just to me is sometimes I go, why would you do it? I mean, obviously you can't. Everything can't be the Godfather
I mean,
2
Crocodile Dundee 2 was far better than Crocodile Dundee 1, in my opinion. But Crocodile Dundee 3 basically shit the bed.
Oh, no doubt.
Well,
they waited too long, like a lot of things. But
yeah, he was older, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's way older. He was old when they did the first one.
What about the Paul Hogan? He used to have he had it must have been in Australia. He had a comedy show.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that's how I knew him. And then when he did Crocodile Dundee, I was like, oh, I saw it. I got a bigger knife, but now this is a knife. Whatever he says, something like that. Or is that the second one?
I like them both. I still think Crocodile 1 is better than Crocodile 2, but I like them both.
Whatever happened to the actress that was in that?
Well, they were married.
Yeah, I know, but she just decided
I think they just kind of quit, because I think she had been retired before they even made the third one because she had kids with Paul Hogan. And then when they decided to make the third one, she's like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And then that's the only thing she did afterwards.
Well, yeah,
That's
you probably
true.
should.
I like it, Sherry. That's a good thought.
Nope, I don't have any gummies with me. Nope. I'm going to California next week, and I'll probably get some, but I'm going to read the directions.
Yeah, like you
yes,
won't,
that is a good plan. And also, if you go in, just talk to someone and explain to them what you want.
No, I usually do at those places. Well, two things I'm going to do. I'm going to read the directions and not watch the Ramblecast.
Yeah, because we're just going to be ripping on you.
I know, I get it, but it's worse when you're high.
Yeah, because I mean, Chris, who's not here tonight, he's going to be here next week, and he's going to be like, so glad Jack's not here to fucking.
And I get it. It's fair. I can't argue with him. I can't defend myself, so I gotta agree with him. It's like, yeah, I'm a dick. I did have a funny story though to tell. I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago, I told how Cindy opened the cornflake thing and it went all over the place.
Yeah, they exploded everywhere. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was like, "How did you do that? What? So the other night, I go downstairs. We got the thing. It's Costco, the double frosted flake thing, and I'm like trying to open it up, and I go, "Let me get a knife and open this damn thing." I can't get the damn thing open. I go,
wow.
I mean, when I'm talking everywhere, I'm like, "You gotta fucking be kidding me!" And we had a huge rainstorm a couple weeks ago, and all of a sudden we've gone all summer without ants. Yeah, and all of a sudden ants are everywhere. I said, so now I got to pick up these stupid cornflakes. I'm under here. She was upstairs. She goes, "What took you so long?" I go, "Well, wow. You know how I made fun of you on the cornflake thing?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, "I did the same thing." How many cornflakes did you lose?
You ever see that Instagram video? I always think it's funny when I see it, where it's like a guy puts like a sandwich down or a cupcake or something on the ground, and like this one ant finds it, and then you see the ant like run off to go tell the colony, and then he picks it up and like puts like a little crumb down, and then like the whole colony shows up, and they're all just like, he's like, they're never gonna believe him again ever.
I've never seen that. No, it's good because they do have you have to kill the scout ant.
Yeah,
because
there is.
Why is there just one ant? I go, it's the scout.
But there's something about the scout ant though, sends out a smell though.
Yeah.
So they know that it's dead, and they're like, oh, we got to go kill it, and so then they send another scout.
Oh, is that what happens?
Yeah.
Because I was always told kill the scout ant, and you're good.
Yeah, no, the scout ant could bring more if you just let it, sit there. So kill it, pick it up with a tissue or whatever, remove it or what have you, put it somewhere else, throw them off the lure, you don't want that,
Because our problem is because we're both pretty clean people, but these grandkids, man, they don't care.
They don't.
They're just dry. I go, whose banana is this on the ground over here? And he goes, you gotta make them eat on the table. I go, you try make them eat on the table. I don't want to be yelling at them all day long. Eat on the table.
Yeah, man, I ain't falling over down at the table.
Yeah, and the tailpipe. And then Ava, she likes to decorate, and she likes to take all her stuffed animals, put them all the stuffed animals that are here. There's billions of them, and she puts them on the chairs, and
they're all covered in jelly.
She gets stickers. Well, she is extremely clean.
Oh, okay.
She's like Felix Unger. Because she wanted to water. I mowed the lawn today. She was mowing with me, and then she stopped because she had a fake mower. She goes, "You're going the wrong way." I go, "Well," I go this way all the. She goes, "I don't like the way you're going." She goes, "I'm going in the house." I go, "Okay." God, I go, can't whoever you marry, whether it be whoever it is.
Yeah, sure.
I'm praying for them now, and. Then she comes out. She goes, "I want to water the plants." I go, "Let me blow all the grass away, and then we'll water the plants." And my sprinkler head, I dropped it, so it's got a little leak. Sprays a little mist. It's getting me wet. I go, "Well, you're watering the plants. That's going to happen." She goes, "I just want. Where's the little green thing you walk? What are those things called? Watering bucket thing."
Yeah.
I go,
watering can.
Watering can. I go, "I don't know where it's at. How about I get you the sand bucket, the beach bucket, and I'll put water in there." So I put water in there, and it sprayed up and it hit her. She goes, "Papa." I go, "It's part of the deal of watering the plants. You're going to get wet." You're going to go. I go. You
Right.
run around in muddy puddles.
Mm-hmm.
Peppa Pig muddy. You splash in those. I go. A little bit of water hits you, and you're upset. She goes, "You're making me mad."
Wow.
I'm not going. I go. I don't know, Ava. I don't know. So she's pouring the water. I go water those 2 flowers over there. She goes, okay. She's pouring it, and then it spilled on her.
Oh shit.
Whose fault was it?
Mm.
She goes, look what you did. I go, me? I'm way over here. She goes, you, if you had the water can, which she used to call it something else, I go, I wouldn't have gotten wet. It's your fault. I go, man, this is rough.
You're right. God bless the person that marries them.
So that's my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's my life. I go, I go, man, I told Cindy, I go, man, the crazy gene is strong in you guys, the female gene. I call it something else, but I don't want to. You know,
I've
starts with a B.
Yeah.
since we've entered that teenage stage with our kids, it's a little bit more frequent for my wife and I to kind of like, you know, just in passing, be like, is there anything else this kid's gonna bitch about today? Like it's kind of a little bit more likely for us to pepper some of the conversation, because I can't remember what it was, but it was just like some it was like, this was wrong, why can't this? I'm like, what else do you want? Like,
do it yourself. God,
pretty much.
That'd
pretty
be
much. So, you know what we do have to do though?
Yeah, I actually was meant to mention that. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's take a commercial break.
It's kind of like it's one of those OCD things. I think it kind of probably starts at that age, you know, and you either get past it or you don't. You know, it's like if my mom was making, or anyone is making, like cinnamon toast, you know, for example, and they only they kind of put cinnamon on one side of the bread, but then like there's one corner that has hardly any cinnamon. You're like, what the fuck? What's wrong with that corner? You know, it's like, why are you being lazy?
Her mom is that way. My daughter, okay. She's always been very. I can remember her still. We had this one house we were at. She had the she had a play school desk, and she put everything would be in order. Now the youngest, Jay, and the youngest one,
yeah,
you know, she'd be, you got to stay away. She's all anal, and Jay, and you know, Jay would have his shirt inside out with mustard all over it. You know, they were both Oscar Madison and
protect the toys.
Yeah, exactly. The toys. You know, I used to say, I go, hey, treat your toys, treat my house like you treat your $3 toy. Can you do that? He's looking at me. But yeah, so we always said that you made your daughter the same way. And like Sherry said, give her Tara, and make her call her queen. Well, Cindy is the queen. She goes, no, you cannot be the queen. You can be the princess. And she believes she's a princess, because sometimes she'll go, I go, what do you want me to do? She goes, I'm the princess. I go, that's great.
Yeah.
But then she tells everyone, she goes, because she wanted McDonald's. She wants McDonald's every time we pick her up. She goes, we're not going to McDonald's every day. When Papa picks me up from school, we always get me French fries.
Oh.
And then they all looked at me. I go, well, she's not wrong.
Like, keep this on the down low.
Yeah, I said, why are you telling on me? That's not good. That's not good. And now her brother is like 16 and he's talking. I go, wow, where did this vocabulary come from? Food. Food. I go, you just ate. And I was making fun of him today. Yesterday I was making, because he likes these little ice cream. He buys these little ice cream cones. And he likes to get on the he grabs the refrigerator or the freezer and he's pulling on it, but he's not, doesn't weigh enough, not strong enough. And I just laughed at him. One day, you're not strong enough to open it up. And he goes,
so he pulls the whole thing.
I go, great. He's gonna kill me in my sleep. Oh, but grandkids are great.
Yeah. So like my oldest, he's 16, and I've never, I guess because maybe he grew up in Knoxville, which is technically a city. But where I grew up, you couldn't wait to drive, because it's like, get the hell out, and do whatever you want. And he didn't even get his license until like a few months past his 16th birthday, and I think he's just now getting his first car, and even then he's just kind of like, I'm good. I'm like,
I think I do think there are different motivations for different kids in different households. Because for our daughter, like, you know, we were very much like, you're getting this license. She was very much excited about having a car to drive, and she drives to high school and back, which is great. Love it. You know, and she's been doing great at it. But other than that, she has no motivation to go anywhere else. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to go? Now, we know other people who have kids of similar ages, and their kids are just like, I'm out of here. And they also have that trajectory as like, as soon as they turn 18, I think they're leaving the house too. Like they have. So I think that there are certain kids that kind of are like, and I know
they have a comfort zone.
Right. And my daughter's already been like, yeah, this is a pretty sweet gig.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
it's like, it's got a sweet gig here. What shall I leave?
Pretty much. Pretty much. But then I do think that there are other kids that are like, get me the fuck out of here.
I know when I got my license on my 16th birthday. I couldn't wait, but I was driving the family car. I didn't have a car yet. And I was
my
told
family members I never got to drive. That's the problem. I got my license, but my dad never let me drive his vehicles. Stepdad never got to let me drive his vehicles. I was basically blackballed. Like they were. Like,
I was limited on where I could go. You know, my big thing was like, all right, I can go to the beach now. I don't have to take the damn bus, or bum a ride off somebody else.
Right.
I go to the beach. My mom goes, no, you cannot go to the beach. My mom was afraid. My mom was afraid of me going to the beach because she goes, you could drown. I go, I could get hit by a car. I could get struck by, it was a whole thing. It's like, I go, yeah, but my boogie board has the wrist, because I had to have the wrist thing on. I go, I have the wrist thing. I wear it all the time, which I did, and she was like, no. She was just afraid of the water. And one time my friends talked, let's go to the beach. I go, I can't, man. I'm going to get in trouble if I go to the beach. So we go to the beach and we do the thing and come back, and I park the car in there. My mom gets in the car. I forgot about all the sand on the floor. She goes, where did you go? I go, what? What? She goes, you go to the beach? I go, I don't think so.
I think we just went to a sandbox.
Yeah, I think we were playground.
The playground. I mean,
we're on the jungle gym, the swings.
Yeah,
I lost the car for a while.
Oh,
but I don't think my sisters were told they couldn't go places. It was just me.
Being the oldest has its disadvantages for sure.
It does, yeah.
So I never forgave my parents for that. So
I was kind of like a middle old child. Like I was like treated as kind of like there were certain things that the younger siblings always got to do, or trips they got to go on that I was never invited on. So, but.
Sherry says, wasn't she comforted by knowing you were going with Dale? No, that was not.
That did not add to the comfort factor.
No going to the border with that Dale kid.
More red flags.
We did go down to Mexico a couple times.
Yeah.
So I remember coming across the first time. They go, where are you coming from? I go, over there.
Right.
Where's over there? I go, well, United States. Where from the United States? California. Where in California? I'm breaking it. Forget about the cocaine I have in the back.
Yes, Jim, it's a very good show. Season 2 debuts tonight. I don't think.
That's with.
They're talking about the old
Bridges,
man,
Jeff
by
Bridges.
the way.
Yeah, not
prefacing this for those listening on the podcast.
The old man season 1 came out like 2 years ago.
What's his name?
Jeff Bridges. Yeah, because to me, it's kind of like the other show that we got canceled, Jack, that you and I liked. The one
the bridge. The bridge.
The bridge.
The bridge. You don't remember that one with the girl that was in. Achilles. What's that name? The movie Troy. She was the blonde in Troy, The Bridge. She had autism. Autistic.
I don't think we've ever talked about this show.
I was like, it's probably like 8-9 years. It was. I liked it. It was a good show. What show got canceled that we watched?
The one with I always call him Brand because that's how I know him from the Goonies.
Flakes?
The one with the hole in the ground. You know.
Oh, I never watched the second season.
Yeah.
So
that got canceled, but they basically came out at the same time. And
San Andreas?
No.
That one?
And
was that what we're talking about?
Because I'm surprised that the old man gets picked up as well. Because aside from people I know who've seen it, no one really talks about it. But it was the season 1 is an excellent season, and then the season 2 that comes out tonight, but it's not available I think until tomorrow on the Hulu. But,
okay, I've been wondering. I was gonna watch it when it first came out. And got busy.
You'll like the old man. It's good.
It's a little. Is it a little like Justified?
Like I said, it's been a couple
It's
years
got
since I've watched it.
It's got a kind of Western feel to it.
It's
right?
more of like a spot. It's I mean, it's very Jeff Bridges.
It's Jeff Bridges and Lithgow, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
more
of
like he's like a retired kind of G-man, or
it's more like erotic police fiction.
It's where you could kill people and it wasn't a big deal, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just get away with it.
All right.
But I do recommend it. You'll like it. It's a good show.
Well, if Jim likes it and you like it, I'm gonna watch it.
You still haven't watched Unfrosted, but whatever.
I will watch. I'm on season 9 of Modern Family.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm starting to understand why I started going, okay, this show needs to end.
2 seasons left to go.
Yeah, but I'm going, okay, yeah, the kids are really old now. Yeah. I mean, they're like going for Social Security. I go, they're trying to make it interesting for the kid. I go, they should just rip these, keep Luke.
Yeah.
Keep Haley, but Alex was, cut her out and Manny just got
keep Alex but cut Haley.
No, I thought Haley was funnier than Alex.
She is, but like to me, the show went sideways immediately when she was like supposed to go to college, and then she comes back, drops out of college. I was like, okay, so to me, that's where the show started to go away.
Well, she was always I don't want to say fuck up, but she was a fuck up always. So, and then Luke became, he's always funny, and it's just like there's funny parts. It's not. There's times it's funny.
Yeah,
you start to say, okay, the kids have gotten older, and it's right. I mean, having little Joe is funny, but Manny.
There's Manny, it wasn't as funny. Yeah.
There's a little Joe part where it's hilarious, where he says, "Let me tell you something. What if you could have Christmas every day?" And he's trying to
just watch that one.
He's trying to kidnap Santa, basically.
Because Manny's gone off to college, but he's at a local college where they can still drive to see him.
Right.
And Joe's in his room. He goes, "Why is that locked?" He goes, "Imagine if you could have Christmas every day."
It's so subtle, and I think that there are moments in the show where it's just like that's kind of in the background, and it's just like, but it happened. It just kind of comes out, and you're like,
well, they were smart to get a new young kid, and Lily is still funny.
Yeah. Lily is funny in that.
But the older kids, it's okay. Yeah, you're losing.
Did you get to the episode where Haley, something happens to her phone?
Yeah, I just watched that today. I watched like 4 episodes today.
That's another good one because I love it where she starts to experience life around her.
she's on the golf course. She's a if you haven't seen it, she's a one of those. She drives alcohol person.
Yeah, she attends alcohol on the.
And then she's over there smelling flowers. She goes, "Have you ever smelled these before?"
Well, Jack, was it me sending it to you or you sent it to me, Jack? Where that comedian was talking about that, how he uses a different word, but it's the same thing. He's like, my generation was the last generation that was deep. He goes, guess what? When I got into on the school bus, I looked at the rain coming down my side of my little piece of glass. So he's like, when I took a shit, I took a shit.
Yeah, I think I sent that to you. Yeah. We took a shit because we weren't on our phones. Yeah. But she's reading books.
She's reading a book, and then
it's like,
and then she gets her new phone, and it's just
Dad,
like,
you're so
clockwork.
funny, and
yeah, she just experiences life.
And she's like, in a matter of seconds, she's like going, oh no, what did she say about me? And she goes, oh, we lost her.
Yeah,
it's that's fun. There are some funny scenes in it.
There are some funny moments. It still has some pulp left in that orange to squeeze, but it does get weaker as the seasons go on. So
but yeah, that was a funny episode.
I do like that the entire cast really kind of held together, and they all kind of
nobody left.
You didn't have any leaving. You didn't have any like weird kind of So
I still don't understand how Cam and Mitch stay together.
I know, because they argue all the time.
Yeah,
and Cam is the antagonist of almost like half or over half the shows. It's like he's
it's got to be. It's always got to be about him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He is the narcissist.
He definitely. Yeah. I mean, some of those though definitely make me laugh though when they play into his narcissism. It's like. I think it's one where they like, why do you assume I'm the mother? Right. And it's like, come on, Cam. Like,
well, the first episode of season 9, they're on the lake because
the eclipse.
What's the dad's name?
Jay.
Jay wants to see the eclipse. He brings the whole family together. And
they have eclipse themed episode.
But Cam's taking pills and he can't be in the direct sunlight, so he's all pasty white and he's like this. And Gloria's afraid of the water, so they go on the boat, and his outfit gets caught in the propeller, so he's naked, falls into the water. It's just over the top stuff, and you're like going. And then the kid that Alex is dating, who's the brown nose at the closet place, Claire's assistant, he's funny.
Yes, no, that is a good character. He is in a lot of different sitcoms as well.
Yeah,
like so he pops up.
Yeah, and then when Phil can't beat the rock paper scissors robot,
at
the end you're thinking he's still trying to do it, and it's Joe. He doesn't ever lose. Okay, maybe it is still funny in season 9. Here I'm laughing.
Yeah, it's.
There's always jokes. It's just
and Gloria's okay to look at. So
I didn't know that about Friends. Like they just show like random stuff every now and then, and it was like a little tidbit of Lisa Kudrow talking about. Someone was like, they were like, I heard that you hated the live audience in Friends, and she's like, no. She goes, I didn't hate the live audience. She goes, the thing is that those people every episode were so excited to be at a Friends taping. Is that like if one of us would have like a good line, but then the next line was even better than the first line, because they would just start laughing and keep laughing to where the other person could not deliver the line. So
it's all about rhythm.
Yeah, she goes, it was always take after take after take until the audience would calm down, and then so she goes, that would just be such a time killer.
It was it all in the family. Carol O'Connor didn't like, they filmed it live, and he said, okay, I don't mind filming it in front of the studio audience, but we can't do it live. And something like that, where he did, because it was the same thing where they would just start laughing at a joke, and they'd have that long pause, and it throws off the whole.
It does, it throws off the timing, and that's why I like live audience tapings like that, but I also hate it. I cannot stand laugh tracks, so. And so, like I said, like Big Bang Theory, and there's even like the newer ones, but even there was, especially in the '90s and right there in the 2000s.
How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother.
Basically, any show produced by CBS.
Yeah. Well, MASH had a laugh track, except in the hospital scenes.
Right. Right.
Seriously, when they wouldn't they told, because they didn't want the laugh track.
Right.
Yeah.
And CBS said you had to have a laugh track.
But it made those scenes a lot more serious, though.
Yeah, we will not do the laugh track when we're in the operating room, even though there were funny scenes in the operating room.
But without even knowing that, like, it created a certain kind of like tension, because you kind of like, it was something that was missing that you were kind of like used to.
I don't know why Frank had to keep saying, can we have some kind of military, whatever he says. He used to use the same line all the time. Some form of military, whatever I said. I'm drawing a blank on it. But
get that cat out of here.
He'd say like, well, you can eat it. But
real quick, before we forget about this, there was a Bob Odenkirk interview that I was listening to, and it was interesting because he was talking about Mr. Show, time on Mr. Show, time with like doing like sitcom kind of Mr. Show was was, they put together skits, and they would perform or have those presented to a live studio audience, right? And there was one joke that they had created where the whole joke is this guy's trying to tell this story, and every time he goes to like put his hand on something, this like whole like shelf collapses and all of these things fall down, and then they put it back together, and then he starts to tell it, and then the whole thing falls down again. And then they do, and he said, we did that one too many times and it was dead. One more before that, it killed. It killed. It was the perfect tempo.
How many times they do it?
But just one more. I don't know if it was like a 4 or like by the time they did a 5th, it broke the 3. I think it broke the 3 rule.
The 3 rule.
But by the time they got to the 5th one, it was too many. I think they did break the rule of 3 with it, but
because that was Johnny Carson's biggest thing.
So
he would go, when you do it a joke and it's working, you got to stop at 3 because you go to that 4th one.
Right.
Okay, they've caught on to the bit.
Right. I can't remember. But anyway, Mr. Show. And I wish I could remember the sketch. But I just thought it was an interesting observation about like that idea that like you can try something, and it's like if it goes just a bit long, then it's dead.
And then there's nothing worse than dead silence on you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you were talking about laugh tracks, and Mary Tyler Moore was filmed in front of a live audience, but they always had that one person, and you're like going, was it? I've never found out. I've tried.
Yeah.
Was it real, or did someone just put that? Okay, I want to get the audience to laugh, so it's. I mean, Mary Tyler Moore, one of the better. You guys probably haven't seen it, but it's probably one of the best sitcoms of all time.
Seen aspects.
There's nothing worse than I think at a live comedy show, a distinctive laugh can be a bonus, but in a show, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of like watching a movie and no one has vetted or looked at the background actors, and there's always just like that one person that's just, and you're like, how did this not get caught, in the editing, where this person is just completely trying to steal the scene from the main actor. Because there's a couple of times where like
it might have been Modern Family I was watching, and this person is literally looking at the camera, and they're like going,
huh.
It must have been a lot of takes, and they're like going,
was it
right?
It's like, was it while they were doing the commercial with like
where Gloria and Bill were doing it? No,
I love that one.
I'm saying Modern Family because that's that sitcom I've been watching.
Yeah,
but I do look at the background.
Mm-hmm.
I always look for mistakes and stuff like that, where people are, where they're looking at the camera, or they're not really, like I said, how did that get through? It's like The Godfather, where in The Godfather 1, where Sonny goes to beat up what's his name,
right?
And he literally messes him by 15 feet. And he goes, I go, how did they leave that in there? This greatest movie, one of the greatest movies of all time. And he's literally, you can tell he's not punching him.
Well, he wanted to do a special edition, and he was going to add the scene with Jabba the Hutt too.
Later,
there was
20 years. We'll just add. Yeah. He's actually fighting three people in this.
The Godfather meets with Jabba.
But you gotta wonder though too. It's like, okay, hey, we got to go back and refilm this. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, it's. I remember a guy on our Facebook page who's into writing and stuff like that was like, oh no. And I showed him the clip, and he goes, oh wow, never saw that before.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, it's pretty bad.
I mean, a lot of people, I think especially today, when you can pause and stream stuff so quickly, you're on your phone, you're on your computer, and you're listening to the movie, not watching the movie, so it's not that important. And shit, I forgot I was going to go with that. Oh, but going back to Almost Famous from a couple episodes ago, I was talking about that movie. There's the scene towards the end of the movie where he misses his graduation, but Francis, I forget who you're talking about. Yeah, his mom shows up though. Yeah. If you watch that scene where they can't say his name, like she just kind of does this, but there's a young actress behind her that it completely ruins the scene if you watch her. And like I said, and if you listen to the bootleg version of that DVD, and Cameron Crowe is talking about everything as the movie's going on, he rails on it for like 5 minutes about like, how did I miss this? Like, this should be because he can't stand it. It's like,
well, yeah, it just kills you because sometimes it's so bad. Going, okay, you got people
but like I don't know, like I guess there's
the dailies,
but there's a part though where every artwork's gonna have some flaw in it. Like nothing is a complete without any.
I get that, but something like a movie, it's not being filmed live.
Sure,
I get it. With like Saturday Night Live, something goes wrong or something.
But again, like something's gonna slip through. Something's gonna be missed by like 1,000 eyes. Like you can work on something.
I saw it the first time. First time I saw The Godfather, I went, he didn't even hit him. I was probably like 12.
Oh, okay. I'm not here defending it. I'm just saying that I think that there is an aspect of making things that like
that was
things
improv,
get through. Like
that was improv. Yeah, lunch after.
We're listening to you, man. I'm 100% listening to you, man.
It's okay. I'm done.
No, go ahead.
I think we should just go ahead and take that other commercial break. Get it the fuck out.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I mean, it didn't ruin the movie for me.
Sure.
I mean, I've never been a big Coppola fan anyhow. I think, Godfather 1 and 2 are great. And I think Apocalypse Now was a lucky mistake. And then
lucky mistake?
It was. Do you not know that? Yeah, watch the documentary is actually better than the film.
You don't like that? You don't like it?
No, I like Apocalypse Now, but it's the end product was not what he wanted to do. He wanted to do. Yeah, it's true. I have. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. I have rewritten Apocalypse Now to make it work. No.
Did you just write Marlon Brando out?
Heart of Darkness. So if you can find Heart of Darkness, which is a documentary about Apocalypse Now, they talk about that, like what the movie he wanted to make and the movie he set out to make. And he basically was going crazy because it was such a big in scope and what he wanted to do with it. And then you see
Martin Sheen had a heart attack.
Yeah, Martin Sheen had a heart attack. There's a lot of stuff that went wrong in that film. And you talk about making the best film of what came out of that. That's what happened. But then you look at everything else he made after that, even like the new movie that's coming out with Metropolis. Like everyone has said that's seen it said it's rubbish. But anyway, confused. The Fart of Darkness.
Well, he was. If you watch, there's a mini. I've talked about before the miniseries on making of The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
And how they didn't want Al Pacino and how the making of it. If you haven't seen it, it's with what's his name, Goose Jr. from what's his name?
The little kid from Top Gun.
Yeah, but he grew up.
Goose Jr. and traveled back in time.
He plays a producer that wants to put The Godfather. He's the one who came up with Hogan's Heroes. He came up with it. I have Hogan's Hero. They're like, wait a minute, the Nazis are funny.
Springtime for Hitler.
So but when he got the script for The Godfather, they didn't want it.
Oh yes, I remember.
It's a great miniseries because you sit there and of course then you had to get the permission from the mob,
right? And
then the guy that played what's his name? He gets choked out.
Jerry Lewis.
No, not Jerry Lewis. Hello, I'm the Godfather. No, it was Luca Brasi.
Oh, okay.
He was an actual. He was an actual a mobster. He was a mobster. He wasn't an actor. He was a mobster. Oh. That's why he was so. Again, I never understood why The Godfather allowed. We're gonna have Luca go be say he's not happy with the situation. They know he's loyal to the. Of course, that could have been how The Godfather was losing it and stuff like that. But anyway, if you haven't seen it, it's outstanding. It just
I'm gonna wait until the prequel is done filming, and then I'm gonna watch the prequel movies and
Miles
then
Teller.
watch.
Thank you. I will.
So
Hey,
anyway,
it worked for me.
So
I'm telling you,
look out for the prequel series called The Godmother, and it's all about the Sicilian heritage and where they come from. So
it's just about, since women didn't have any rights back then, so it's just a woman making spaghetti.
No, it's really about how the women hold all the strings, So
I'm gonna tell you right now, they don't.
Okay.
Yeah, especially in your household, Jack.
What, Nick?
Nothing.
So especially in your house, though, those Italian women have no control.
Oh yeah, well that's different.
Yeah,
that's different. I did make. What did I say to my wife today?
Hey, lady.
Hey, lady.
Have you seen that clip? It pops up on my Instagram every now and then. I always think it's funny. It's Jerry Lewis. Towards the end of his life, you can tell he's on up there, and I guess it's the first time he's ever seen Jim Carrey. And you see him just sitting there, and like Jim Carrey starts to walk up to him, and you can see his face kind of acknowledge that he knows who this person is, and he's like, "Are you?" And then Jim Carrey goes, "Yes, you're the one that fucked my mother." And he just
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's when Jim Carrey made movies.
Jim Carrey, I challenge just about anyone to have more of a successful string than Jim Carrey, and like from '94 through 2000, like he just made
Bill Murray.
Well, Bill Murray, I think Jim Carrey had more successes than Bill Murray, because Bill Murray quit.
You're forgetting about Ghostbusters too.
But the thing is that Bill Murray had a 5-year gap, though. That's the thing, is that Bill Murray basically was like 80 through 83, 84, and
he
then
had
took 5 years off.
He had Caddyshack. He had Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I mean, you're right in that. Like, but then you can make that argument
but you're forgetting about
Eddie Murphy,
Sonic the Hedgehog, and all of those movies that Jim Carrey.
I'm talking about like a short period.
Space Jam.
Because I think Jim Carrey is still.
Jim Carrey's not in Space Jam.
No, Bill Murray is.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I think Jim Carrey is still the only actor that had 3 number 1s in 1 year, which was.
Oh wow.
Which is Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was amazing, but
what's an atrocity though, and I realize that the Academy. No.
Okay.
I realize that the Academy Awards is just like, it is what it is.
It's a popularity contest.
It's an award.
That's why I've never won one.
However, it's dumb that there is no category for comedy or a comedic role. There's
I see. It's just best actor.
It's just best actor, and
which everyone says is the hardest thing to do, is to make someone laugh, not make them cry.
True, and I think it's a testament to like really good actors when all of a sudden they can do comedy, and people are like, "Oh, I didn't know they could do comedy." Well, it's because comedy's fucking hard.
Yeah,
it's like timing and delivery.
Hanks probably had a better run.
Tom Hanks would probably have gotten some best of, but I think it would be an interesting thing to kind of do, is to kind of go back in time and like each year, like find what would have been the best like comedic roles of that year, and kind of narrow it down and kind of have your own like little like mini this would be because the same is true with like TV shows. Like TV shows, they don't get comedic actors, have never gotten their a fair shake at like so.
And again, it's extremely hard to do, especially when you're like a sitcom, because you have to nail that. And like you were saying, Nick, that people are laughing so hard, you're like going, shut the fuck up so I can tell my line.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
there's
agree.
Different kinds of comedy too, because like I think we've had this discussion on it's been a while, but like my favorite kind of comedy is actually physical comedy, and that is
you like I Love Lucy?
Well, yes, like I Love Lucy is a good example. Yeah,
Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, because like the only person I know that's even done it in the last few years has been Edgar Wright. He director. He has done physical comedy and things like Scott Pilgrim and Shaun of the Dead and things like that. But you know, like even I mean, just going to a sitcom, like for example, there's an episode of Cheers where some guy is sitting in Norm's stool, and Norm walks in. Not one line is even uttered. You know, but like you know exactly what Norm is doing from the minute he walks in and sees someone sitting in his stool, you know, and just like walks up to the guy, and you can just see in his body language, like, you know, like his how his thoughts are, you know, building up to this moment to where he just like goes and stands next to the guy, like, you know, like move.
Is that the one where they're waiting for the upstairs restaurant?
I don't remember
because I just saw a clip of it, and the guy comes in. Norman's standing there. He goes, "I was sitting there." He goes, "It was a man and his wife, couple anyway." He goes, "No, we were here." He goes, "No, I'm Norm.
I'm Norm."
Yeah. and then the guy goes, "Uh-huh." I go, "Well, as soon as our table's called, we'll get." He's like, so he goes over and fakes a heart attack. Everybody,
right,
the people get out of the chair, and they're, what does Norm do?
Yeah, he gets
Norm
up,
gets his seat, and he goes,
exactly.
It's like when they're bowling. Remember their bowling championship? And he goes walking into the bar of the bowling alley. Norm! He goes, he's known everywhere.
That's a good one, too.
And like Cliff, he wasn't supposed to be a main character.
Yeah, but they're the Bert and Ernie of that show. Like, you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, and he just became, because they used to sit apart. Remember?
Right.
At the beginning, Cliff would sit on this side, and Norm would sit on that side.
Now, you know, there's going back in time though, and like talking about like sitcoms and what have you. It's like, you know, I know a lot of people agree, like Archie Bunker, like his character, you know, Carol O'Connor, you know, like he would be like one of those people that would have gotten an award for, you know, like that time period, at least one, you know, one, like it would have been there, or Walter Matthau, like, you know, like, it just, there's a lot of like, I think, and you know, you mentioned it earlier, like Lucille Ball, and there's just a lot of like Carol Burnett, like there's a lot of female comedians that would have also had that recognition way back then too.
Well,
so
yeah, like,
I think they won Emmys. I mean, I think Mary Tyler
probably
won
Emmys. Yeah. But you know, just the comedy aspect, I think it just gets kind of a bit of a.
I mean, just because you said Roger, I mean Matthau, like, you know, like Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men. I love those two movies so much, but you know, like you said, to a certain past a certain
Bad News Bears.
Yeah, like, I mean, but you know, those movies past if you didn't grow up watching them, you know, like, no one talks about them today unless you see it on like a TNT or whatever TBS rerun. But those are, I mean, absolute gold.
Because it's true, because it's funny. I mean, it's funny because it's true.
Yeah, I do wonder sometimes, like with certain properties, if because like it didn't get bought by this streaming service, it didn't get put into the zeitgeist again, people just kind of lose track of it, and it just kind of like falls to the wayside. It's like, oh, you know, I can't watch that movie because it's not any of my streamers. It's like, boom, you're just all of a sudden.
Well, it's out of sight, out of what is it? Out of sight, out of mind, or whatever it is.
Sure.
Because, you know, I forget a lot. I forgot I used to. Because you'll see an actor who was on the show who's passed away, and you go, I forgot I used to love that show.
So I haven't seen Randy in the chat tonight, but he's always been.
He's traveling. He's
okay. He's always
he's
pushing
Turkey,
northern.
I think he's in Turkey.
Oh, okay. He's always
next. He's going to chicken, but he started.
Never mind. I'll just let you.
Okay, go ahead.
He's been after us to watch Northern Exposure, and although I have not watched Northern Exposure, I was talking about this to my wife, and we were discussing this TV show back in the day that was kind of like Northern Exposure, and we were like, "What was that show?" And like, we could not remember the name of it. We're like, "Yeah, it's like a woman, like she goes to Alaska. Maybe it's like a fish out of water, like." You know, and we just like, and finally, like, I'm Googling and trying to like narrow it down.
The baby boom, was it?
The show was called Men in Trees.
Oh yeah, I remember that title.
Yeah,
totally.
The name.
Totally off the radar. Like, we watched it for whatever reason when it was on. We were just like, oh, this is kind of a funny show. But Northern Exposure-esque in a way. So, but that show just completely, like, not even on my radar.
I think, I mean,
I would have forgotten about the name of it.
I like fish out of water stories. You know, I mean, I think they're good because they help. I mean, as long as they're not too stereotypical, because like that's where it gets too much. But you think like Doc Hollywood or even Baby Boom
forever.
Yeah, Baby Boom with Diane Keaton. There's a lot of them that are good. It's just like this is your comfort zone. This is your world. See how the other half lives. And
there's just not enough time in the day to go back and watch all those shows.
No, there's not.
Because I know a show that Cindy and I used to like when we first started dating was 30 something. And I was 28, she was 30, and I used to go, can you explain this to me? I don't understand it. Just to make sure, that I was picking on her because she was older. I go, can you explain this? I don't get your 30 something thing. I don't get your guys complain about being 30 something thing. And she would get so pissed off. But it was such a great show. And it's funny as a lot of the people, it's like, I forgot about 30 something because in Timothy Butfield's, was it Butfield? But not Butfield. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about. Timothy Button.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. It's a really good show, but again, I don't think it's even on anything anymore.
Did y'all ever
a lot of shows they don't get. It's funny how some shows it lasted 5 or 6 years, you don't see them on streaming services.
Yeah, I mean I think some of that stuff, like I said, it just doesn't get picked up by like the or whoever owns it. They're just not willing to like put it out. So
there's just so much, out there, and
then they're always on to the guy kind of pushing the next big thing or what have you.
Right.
There was a show that I just happened to watch last night. It's on Netflix currently. It's a new show called Chaos, Kaos.
Okay, Get Smart.
No, no, it stars Jeff Goldblum, and he plays Zeus. So. So just kind of, there's no spoilers here, but just trying to describe this show in the most broadest brushstrokes. It kind of reminds me of the 90s Romeo and Juliet.
Oh God, that was horrible.
Not with the
Leo. Don't hold back, Nick.
No, not with like the whole like. Just with the aspect where it's kind of taking this thing that's really old and putting it into like these current time period, and then mixing in contemporary music with it, and then also having these kind of moments, like if you remember that movie, there's these moments where it like kind of introduces a character, and it'll have like kind of like it'll flash like the words on it. The Gentleman does that too, I believe. Like when it's introducing like certain characters, like it'll be like boom, like text.
So Sherry says it's like reimagining Greek gods in modern times.
Exactly.
So that's kind of like the show that Chris and I really liked. That was doing the Norse, mythology. What was the name of that show? It was only 3 seasons. It was really good. It's kind of like teenagers, but they were, one was Thor, one was Loki, like all the
right.
God. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I mean, the first 2 seasons are excellent. Third season is pretty good. Just they did not land the ending, but it's a good show.
So I think if just real quick, Treese says something, and stuff gets held back with music rights. So
I didn't even think about that, but that's probably true.
That is totally the case. There are certain sketches on SNL that you can't watch because of the music rights that are in the music.
The one with where Adam Sandler and Chris Farley are at the pool.
Mm-hmm.
It's Van Halen.
Schmidt's gay.
Yeah, and they've changed it to it's a different random song. It's Van Halen. And I was watching something with what's his name, Sammy Hagar.
Yeah,
and he goes, yeah. He was talking about how towards the end, Eddie Van Halen was just so high, and he'd start playing his guitar. You're like going, okay, what is he doing? He goes, it was the worst time of my life. He goes, it was just terrible. And he goes, now, what's the other Van Halen? The drummer.
Oh, yeah, his brother, yeah.
Yeah, he won't let me. He goes, there was a documentary on my life. He goes, I couldn't play any of the songs that I wrote because he was blocked. He would sue me if thank you, Matt Trees. Alex Van Halen would sue me if I played the songs. He goes, I can't play these songs because even I wrote these songs with Eddie Van Halen. He goes, he won't let me play them.
Yeah, that's the same with John Fogerty. That's what he was saying is that that's why when people would see him for such a long time, he would not perform Creedence Clearwater songs because he would have to pay the studio or the record company for playing his own songs. It's like, this is bullshit.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just at one point, at some point you got to stop being bitter. You've made, I'm assuming Alex Van Halen made a ton of money.
You'd like to think so, but then they just blow through it.
I know they blow through it, but it's just like, come on.
Then also,
I mean, Van Halen is one of those, bands, but when you find out that they just hated each other because of drugs and egos and all that stuff.
Well, I remember reading one time, like the first stadium tour, like cross-country stadium tour was Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young in 1974. The Rolling Stones like to claim they did it in 75, but really it's Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. And I remember reading that they were promised like $2 million each for that whole tour, which in 1974, that's just a shit ton of money.
You know what? But I'd take it now.
Yeah, it's true. Totally true. But that's what they're talking about, like how much money was wasted, and they never saw any of it because it was like just how many vendors and how many people that would get involved with the tour because they could make money. And it's like, how many times did they have embroidered pillow covers and like all this stuff that was like, we didn't ask for this, but someone did it and someone paid for it. And then we're out that amount of money. We're out this amount of money. And
yeah, it's sad. And I can see, where you, especially if you're in a band, you're around each other 24/7 and you're just playing the same songs I could see where, especially with drugs and egos getting involved. I could see where it'd be, okay, I can't stand this person.
Well, there was a I'm not sure if it's a sketch or if it's just like a documentary bit, but it's showing, basically it's trying to teach people how the music industry works. And they were using two teenagers that were like up and coming rap stars or whatnot. And they were showing how before the tour started, they were like, oh, you guys are going to get paid $5,000 per concert. And then by the end of the tour is over and they get, to where their agent or whoever's supposed to be paying them, they each get like $100 and that's it. And they're like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, well, when you think about the booking fees and all the stadium taxes and the taxes, and then you think about how much room service and how much liquor and all this stuff that you guys drink on a daily night. And like, it's all this stuff is like, you're left with this. And
it's like the Blues Brothers when they were at that Western bar.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh, well, she gave us the beers, so we just thought they were free. Like, nah.
It does suck.
So, real quick though, the Chaos Show. I'm going to continue to watch some more of it. What's it on? It's on Netflix. I like how it sets up the Greek gods, and it's kind of explaining to you these relationships, but it's setting them up in these kind of more, real life kind of dynamics. But it's also interesting to see Zeus use his powers. So there'll be moments where he'll just blip someone into existence or send them off to kind of, be tortured. So, well, imagine his character from Thor, right? Thor.
That's what I mean. He's always kind of
It's similar to that, except with a little bit more of a cranky edge vibe. So
kind of like me.
Yeah.
Cranky. Yeah.
Kind of like you. I enjoyed it so far. So I'll continue to watch
Poseidon,
it. So.
Jack.
I'm more what?
You're more Poseidon.
Okay. I do like an adventure.
And to your point though about the aspect of like bands arguing or like kind of falling apart and all of that, there was a recent and it might not even be that recent, it could be months ago, but I'd seen where two of the Beastie Boys were on Conan O'Brien. And it was interesting hearing Ad Rock and Mike D talk just about their time as being Beastie Boys and also talking about their loss of, so it was really cool though, because they are unique in that aspect where they always, like, they even talked about it. It was like a lot of times they were writing rhymes to make the other person laugh, or to kind of like get. So they always kind of had that.
Beastie Boys.
They always kind of had this like aspect of their friendship where they were all kind of working together and in a way, which is, I don't know, it was a really neat interview, very unique, also funny because when you listen to the two of them talk, so Conan's obviously interviewing them.
It's a podcast.
Yeah, podcast on Conan Needs a Friend podcast when he interviews the Beastie Boys. I don't know if it was within the last month or whatever when I listened to this, but it's hilarious because the two of them sound like a married couple.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And it is like, for real, like they have been in a relationship probably longer than their actual relationships with their spouses, but you could hear it when they're talking. Like one of them starts to talk, so he's like, "Oh, you're gonna bring that up?" Okay. You know, like it's just like, it's this like, you know, yeah, you're gonna do that, aren't you? It's like, they love each other, but you can hear that like a little bit of,
you really know each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know every aspect of that person. And that's what, going back to a common thing we talk about, which is the Beatles. I mean, there's how many times have I heard Paul, George, and John in interviews talk about that. Ringo always was the, you know, like peace, you know, and didn't really talk badmouth anybody. But, you know, like John would always talk about that. I think it's him. He's like, you know, we knew each other since we were 13. You know, people like to think that, you know, like we just knew each other from 1963 and then broke up in 69. It's like, no, we knew each other a decade before that. It's like, we've gone through every single thing you can think of, you know, and we were just tired of it. We were tired of being around the same three people, you know, all the time. And it makes sense when you think about it like that. And
well, plus you got, again, egos always come into play where, you know,
you just change
who's the best, who's, you know.
Well, it's also things where, like, you know, when you're starting a band or when you're in a band, you know, you'll forgive things like, or little things like, you know, if I'm interrupting Chris or Matt or you, Jack, or something,
I will never forgive you.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, it just, you know, that wound becomes a scar, you know, and you kind of let it pass for a while. But then after so many years, you're like, God damn it! Like, if you interrupt me one more fucking time, like, you know, and then like and you're like, where'd that come from? And it's like, it came from 10 years of you doing that shit, you know, and that's just how it is.
That's why I like the movie That Thing You Do, because it's Tom Hanks wrote it, and it's one of my favorite movies. And it's just how this band, you know, there's garage band, and starts, and they write this hit song, and it just steamrolls, and how they get popular, and they're on this national TV show, and at the end they break up because, you know, they weren't, you know, they
rode lightning in a bottle, basically.
Yeah. But to me, though, some of the best lines or the best conversations in that movie are later in the film when he's talking with the jazz musician. You know?
Yes.
And he's like, you know, oh yeah, we've been together.
The actor just passed away.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's like, I forget the amount of time he says. He's like, oh, yeah, we've been together for like 2 months. And he's like, yeah, for some people, that's 2 months too long. You know, like, and it makes total sense when you think about it. Like, you know, you just do something while it's fun. And if it's not fun anymore, just let it go.
We got Jimmy. We got Faye. We got Lenny. We got, they never say the bass player's name. It's just always, he's the bass player.
He's too scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of people that have passed away, though.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones.
Oh yeah, God, how we done this long enough?
Well, we texted in our texting thread.
I bet you did. Yeah,
it was.
I was excited.
Oh, was that just in our Star Wars one?
Maybe that was us. No, he
was it?
You just skipped over it. You were like, "Who the fuck is this person?" I've never.
Well, no, I saw it on Twitter, and I went, "Oh, I hate to open this." You know, it's like, because when you see his name trending, you're like going, I go, damn. I go, such a great actor. And
my mom is definitely not a movie quote person. She knows who James Earl Jones is, but even within my family, we were kind of doing what we were doing. You know, I kind of sang some movie lines and remembering James Earl Jones. And then mom comes in, she goes, "Don't blame me for all your shit." And I kind of went, "Do you mean it's not my fault?" that you didn't play catch with your father? He goes, yeah, I was close enough. I was like, no, you weren't.
That's not even.
He's been. You start seeing, all the tributes on. You go, God, I forgot he was in that one. Forgot he was in that one. Forgot he was in that one. It's just like.
Well, and he cameoed in so many different things too.
No, Ray, they will come.
I've always remembered him saying that was his favorite role, was Field of Dreams.
Yeah, well, he was a baseball fan.
Yeah,
and he was in at least 3 baseball movies I know of. He was in
Sandlot,
Field of Dreams, and Bucker. It was a movie with Richard Pryor. It was Negro League Baseball.
Oh, okay.
It's can't remember the name of it. Bucker. Where's Matt Treese when you need him?
But, he's already looking it up for you.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway,
yeah, I mean,
I expect him to know it. I did like what Mark Hamill said. My close friend Mark Hamill said, "Rest in peace, Dad."
Aww.
I said, "Oh my God, that hits."
Well,
I always remember, Dr. Strangelove is one of his first roles.
Yeah,
I always remember. But
Jack Johnson, he played, right? Jack Johnson played a boxer. Anyway,
I had mentioned in the thread that I play a game with my wife. Like, what's he famous for?
Oh, right.
Because she didn't see the headline. She just heard me say like, "Oh, James Earl Jones passed away," and she's like, who? And I'm like, "What's he famous for?" And she's like, he's in like a movie, like a Disney movie." I'm like, okay, like Toy Story? Yeah, like Toy Story. He's not in Toy Story. No, not Toy Story. Like,
yes, thank you, Matt.
She's like searching and searching. Matt Tree says the Bingo Long Traveling All-Star and Motor King. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I know it has Richard Pryor in it. Billy D. Williams might be in it, who fought Rocky.
Yeah.
Let's see. Never let Chris forget that one.
Never.
Yeah, I saw it in the theaters back in the 70s, I think. I'm pretty sure Richard Pryor was in it. Anyway, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, no, there's really nothing more to say.
Well, no, did you have to tell her, or did she actually remember?
She never did get to Darth Vader. She got to Mufasa.
Well, I forgot about that one too.
So she got to Mufasa and
Coming to America. Like, I mean, yeah.
Well, as soon as I kind of brought it up, then she had to kind of do the IMDb like search, like all of the stuff. But I did say, like, are you sure there's not like another Purse character like from a movie maybe that's well known?
I know when he was in
just nothing.
Roots Part 2, he played Alex Haley. I didn't know that was Darth Vader at the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, because he had let's face it, he has a great.
He does.
Great voice.
I mean, there's only a handful of voices.
He also played CNN. Oddly enough.
That's right.
He was CNN.
I think at the end he wanted to take his name off it, though. I think he said, "Okay."
I don't think so. I think he was like, he just wanted that check.
As long as he's getting the royalties, he didn't care.
Right.
You think people with very distinctive voices. To me, it's like James Earl Jones, Morgan Freeman, Christopher Lee, Christopher Walken in a way, just because of his weird.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, yeah.
I was going to say there was a Frito.
Sam Elliott, yeah.
I'm watching Hulu and I got commercials again, and I go, "When was the last time Fritos?"
Michael Caine.
When was the last time Fritos had a commercial?
They don't need a commercial.
But they had a commercial. They actually it was about cowboy guys eating Fritos.
But you're all right though. I can't remember the last time I saw a Fritos commercial.
Now in the late 60s, late 60s, early 70s, they had a race. Well, now it's racist. The Frito Bandito commercial.
By the way, it was always racist, Jack.
Frito Bandito.
Yeah, but we overlooked it back then.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
I'm just saying, because when I was a kid, you wanted you got the Fritos because you got the Frito Bandito pencil eraser,
right?
So, and I wish I would have saved that.
Well, you can get them on eBay.
I know, but
for 60 cents.
I am because I still know the song. I am the Frito Bandito. But I don't know if I can sing it if we're going to get canceled here.
I think
we
you
don't have
can
enough
sing it.
listeners for that.
Like what is? Yeah, I don't think.
What the Frito Bandito was?
Yeah.
It was a bandit that would steal your
Right.
Fritos.
Okay.
The Frito Bandito
Gotcha.
would steal your Fritos. So you had to be worried that the Frito Bandito bandit would steal your Fritos. So there you go.
Yeah.
Does the Frito Bandito also steal dogs? Just asking.
No, they don't steal dogs. They don't eat dogs. They got Fritos to eat.
Did anybody say that they ate dogs? I'm just saying, did they steal dogs?
You're implying it.
Well, if you steal a dog, then you're obviously going to eat a dog.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, maybe you're just
a
going
cute
to
dog.
resell it. You know,
The stupid dog won't stop yapping. I got two things. I can let it go or I can eat it. So what are you going to do, Matt? I'm guessing you're going to eat the damn dog.
What?
So I think we've talked about.
We got some barbecue sauce.
Our dogs. Yeah, exactly. That's a good advertisement right there.
Yeah. There's been a lot of good memes the last couple of days, and I not to get too political, but
why not?
I've seen that one.
Why not?
That's the Alf ones have been my favorite.
I did like
far.
that one. Yeah.
There's they've been showing a lot of the clips of like Alf grabbing a cat somewhere and like running off with it. It's like illegal alien grabs the cat.
Yeah,
it's
like, I saw one day it was Grubhub or something like that. It was a cat in a plastic bag.
Right. Yeah. To go order.
Yeah. Oh my! What is this country's in such a fucked up shape? I mean, I go, come on, really? These are the two choices. But anyway, it's so weird. Because Cindy watched. I don't know if I talked about this last week. Cindy watched something on TikTok. If you're 50 years of age, you can only count on like 26 years of life because the average person dies at 76.
Yeah.
Well, she told me, I go, well, you got 11 years or you got 12 years. I go, I got 14. Is that what why would you tell? I go, why would you tell me that? Why would you tell me that?
Yeah, I mean that's what we've definitely talked about this before, but that's what really blows your mind about how you always kind of think you're on the way up, but really you've kind of.
I know I'm circling the drain.
That's why I'm being proactive about my health, and I'm making sure to exercise daily and eat healthier. So those are two things that
I'm proud of you for that.
What's healthy? How do you know?
How do I know?
How do you know? You could eat a pound of bacon a day.
Sure, but like having an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But you cannot tell me that is not an age-old ism.
It is, but now we got genetically modified apples. We got wax on apples. We got all these things. I go to my local
Washington
apple
orchard.
No, I go to my local apple orchard, so I'm getting something locally grown. I
know
where
you
it's
have a local.
It doesn't have like all of the wax on it yet, or any of that shit. Okay,
you have a local apple orchard?
Yeah, there's apple orchards in Indiana.
Really?
Of course there are. Yeah.
My dad used to pick apples as a kid.
I grew up. We had an apple orchard in the back of our property.
I've always grown up in the city, so
we had
I got smog.
How would you like it? Someone walked up and picked something off of you.
We had 80 apple trees back there.
On your property?
Yeah. And
now, is one of the trees on top of the body? Is that why the apples are so plentiful?
No.
They have plenty of protein.
Yeah.
There's bees. We did have honeycomb and bees back there as well. So, but growing up, there was one year that my parents decided to make apple butter with they had this big, huge black cauldron. They had it going all day long, just like putting apples in it and stewing it, and it was.
Have you ever had a horse
very,
apple?
very fond memory.
Had what?
Have you ever had a horse apple?
A horse
apple?
No.
Yeah. You should try a horse apple.
No.
Is that like horse poop?
No.
I mean, what
yes.
do you
horse shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen it at parades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a pass on the horse. I got to start eating better and getting in better shape. But
so
I only have 14 years left. So
just any exercise will do at this age.
That's true.
But
Will this work?
My wife and I, we've been, but that doesn't.
Oh, come on, Jack.
If it gets your heart rate up,
stroke
but
than that.
you need us to
Keeps your heart going.
Oh, yeah.
An extended amount of time keeping your heart going, Jack. You can't just jack off for 5 minutes and just be done.
Oh, it's 5 minutes. I was going to say 30 seconds. What?
Oh,
Jesus
okay.
Christ! You want to kill me?
No, you got to get your heart rate going.
5 minutes.
It's kind of like another movie that's kind of been forgotten is probably Jack Nicholson's last probably good movie, which was the one he did with Diane Keaton. You know,
Getting fucked.
Where he's.
I'm a ladies. I'm just joking. I don't.
What's the name of that movie?
Keanu Reeves.
Anyone's guess.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is in it. Yeah. But the same thing. He had a heart attack. And he's trying to date Diane Keaton. And like Keanu Reeves is like, like if you can walk a flight of stairs, then you can have sex. And it just shows like it's a whole montage of him like doing like 3 steps and like, oh God, and it's pretty. I mean, I liked that movie.
That was a good movie.
All right, I'm looking it up. I'm looking to see what that movie was called.
Yeah.
The Departed. Oh, how do you know?
Departed. No. How do you know?
No, how do you?
Maybe he might have been The Departed after that. Then.
I'm Still Here.
Nope.
The Bucket List.
Nope.
No. Bucket List was with Morgan Freeman.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give.
Something got to give. That's what it is.
It was about his dick. So, on that note, let's go ahead and
wrap this up.
Yeah.
We only took 2 for tonight, so we probably should throw in another one.
Let's do it. Happy birthday to us.
This is our 12th year together.
Wow. No. Really? 12 years?
I'm just throwing it. I have
our 8th year. What are you talking about?
I didn't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I just figured I forgot that I got Rain Man Nick. Remember? You probably remember the first date, the date we started.
Yeah. Well,
when we were still the Married Man Show.
That's right.
Well, we've definitely been podcasting all of 2020s, so that's for sure.
Yeah, no, we talked about this. God, no, we started in April of 2016.
Okay.
At that point, it was only one guest host per episode because then it was that's when Jay still podcast. So it was Jack, Jay, and one of us, and that happened all the way until August, roughly, of 2016. And then,
I didn't want to do it that way, but that was Jay.
And Jack and Jay both had to go somewhere. It probably was something to play with your dad, Jack, or something.
2016, probably right, yeah.
Yeah, and y'all took off, and so we called it like the guest host takeover or something like that. And it was
I remember that, yeah.
It was me, Chris, Tim, and I think Matt was on that podcast too, but I don't remember. But anyway, I remember us taking over, and then it was such a different change of pace that the audience was like, "Oh, you guys are all," and then from that point on, it was all of us. Yeah.
I mean, Tim, I can never live down Tim's bun patty bun.
Nope, and there was something still on the Facebook group about it.
I know.
Yeah. It definitely made me laugh. Like I told you guys, like I was sitting at the airport, and there's a Shake Shack at the airport. So like, I'm gonna get Shake Shack, and I'm, they had a little counter, so I'm sitting there and I order. The woman sits right next to me, and she goes, "I'll have the Shack burger, but I don't want pickles, I don't want onions, I don't want lettuce, I don't want tomato, I don't want cheese." So the woman, you can just see the woman going, "So you just want the bun and the burger?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then she goes, "Maybe a pack of ketchup." And I just like, Jesus Christ.
One time you order a plain hamburger. Yeah. One time in your life.
Sure.
And you're labeled for life.
Well, let me tell you what happens when you break your collarbone sledding.
Well, that was funny.
Sure. We don't have any emails tonight, right?
No, we don't. Nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, let's put a pin in it for today, and we'll be back next week. I think next week it's going to be Chris, Nick, and I. And Jack, you will be.
I could join us. I don't.
Okay.
I'll be in San Diego. I'll see how things are going. I got a lot of shit to do when I'm in San Diego.
We got a lot of shit to go down. We should be recording on Thursday again, right?
Yes.
So I'll just put that out there for the people on the nets if they're
Survivor's
wondering.
coming back. So
I know. You got that Survivor thing going on. So, all right, gentlemen. Well, at this point, if you want to give us any feedback whatsoever, you could go over to Facebook, join the Jay and Jack Facebook group. You could get on that if you want to, or go over to jayandjack.com, become a patron. There's some patrons that make this show possible. Become a patron there. Send us an email at rcadcast@gmail.com. Join us live on the YouTube stream here on Ramblecast After Dark. Just type that in on your YouTube. Subscribe to us, please. We'd love it. And most of all, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. There are a few patrons that make this show possible. Eckhart Richter Gladfelter. Yep, I put you back up number 1, right up top there, buddy. So Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the master plan, and Ed, the poopy, cool, creepy, awesome, psychedelic letter carrier. Thank you, everybody, for doing what you do. And thank you to my fellow co-hosts for showing up.
At least I can do.
We show up when we can.
And Nick, what a great callback song.
Yeah, from the previous episode. That's why I was like, I'll do that song again.
I mean, it'd be cool if you had an outro song, but that's cool.
This
was a great show, kids. It was 1 in a million.